Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Denver Broncos versus Washington Redskins Week 16 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there's always going to be some variation between various variables. However, there's always going to be little nuggets of truth that can become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So, starting out with this matchup between the Broncos and the Redskins. When you look at the NFL stat basic comparison data, and basic comparison data essentially is the basics. It's looking at how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, and of course, how the special teams is doing based on various team variables. And when you look at this information, the Redskins and the Broncos are fairly even, like very, very tight. I think the overall data favors the Broncos with a 29.13 score versus the Redskins with a 27.56 score. But only 2 points divide these teams. So this is a very kind of could go either way type of game. But let's get into it. Like, you know, what are the areas where the Redskins are favored? Then, of course, where are the areas where the Broncos are favored? First off, though, the Redskins are definitely favored on offense. The Redskins have a better turnover ratio, better sack prevention score, and better offensive score percentage. So the Redskins typically put more points on the board. They don't turn the football over as much, and they don't allow as many sacks. So Redskins obviously have the better offense. The better defense goes to the Broncos because the Broncos have the better defensive offensive score percentage, meaning that they typically prevent more points. Now, I will say this, though. The Redskins do have the better turnover ratio. The Redskins create more sacks, and the Redskins also create more interceptions. So, in many ways, the Redskins kind of create turnovers and get sacks and stuff like that, but they allow too many points. So, overall, I would, again, the Broncos defense is the superior defense because they prevent more points. You know, they don't do the sexy things as well as the Redskins do, but they prevent more points. And that is kind of why this is such an even game, is you have one team in the Redskins that have a fairly good offense, and then another team in the Broncos that have a fairly average to decent defense. And because of that, both those factors kind of combine to having it so close, you know, in terms of both these teams. And then, of course, when you get to special teams data, the Broncos are favored in terms of punt return yardage. They're also favored in terms of kick return yardage. Defensive punt return yardage also favors the Broncos. Defensive kick return yardage favors the Redskins. Field goal percentage favors the Redskins. Extra point percentage favors the Broncos. And punting average favors the Redskins. By far, the most important statistic when it comes to special teams, as I say every single week, is field goal percentage. And because of that, I would give the advantage here to the Redskins when it comes to special teams. But definitely, you know, kind of an interesting sort of factor to kind of consider. So overall, the Redskins are favored on offense, and the Redskins are favored on special teams, whereas the Broncos are favored on defense. But the overall picture is still very, very tight. It's a very tight football game between both these teams from a statistical standpoint. When we get in a final judgment at the end, I'll kind of give my general thoughts and stuff about who I think will win. But definitely a game that could go either way because of the defense of the Broncos being as good as it is, and of course the Redskins offense also being fairly decent in itself. Then, of course, we get into some micro matchups. So we're looking at different down and distance data, looking at things like completion percentage, for example. And when you look at this particular area between the Broncos offense and the Redskins defense clearly has an advantage over the Broncos offense when it comes to first, second, and third down. So the Redskins defense is fairly decent at preventing completions for the most part on defense. Then, of course, we get to the Redskins offense versus the Broncos defense, where in this particular area, I would say it's actually pretty evenly matched. The Broncos have an advantage on first down. The Redskins have a major advantage on second down, and then third down is more of a toss-up between both these teams. So I would say that the Redskins are actually fairly even. The Redskins and Broncos are fairly even here when it comes to completion percentage data. Then, of course, you get to rushing downs between the Broncos offense and the Redskins defense. Again, this mainly has to deal with the ability to create first downs with the run in various downs and distances. It really doesn't have anything to do with yardage. It has nothing to do with explosive plays. It purely has to do with if you are able to create more first downs on first down, you're going to score higher. And, of course, every other down and distance, for example. And in this particular area, the Redskins are favored on first and second down when it comes to their defense. But there is a big disparity on third down. So the Broncos will probably have some success rushing the football in this game. But it mostly will come on third down based on how the data kind of shapes up right now. Then, of course, we get to the Redskins rushing offense versus the Broncos rushing defense, where pretty much the Broncos are favored in terms of first, second, and third down. The Redskins have not had a lot of success getting first downs with the run, and the Broncos have been very good at preventing first downs with the run. So definitely more so favors the Broncos defense here in terms of the rushing D. Then, of course, we get to passing down. So, again, this is just like the rushing downs, but it has more so to do with the ability to convert first downs with the pass in various downs and distances. And in this area, the Redskins are favored on first, second, and third down. So, again, Redskins definitely favored here in terms of passing downs and those down and distances. Then, of course, we get to the Redskins passing offense versus Broncos passing defense when it comes to passing downs, where the Redskins are favored on first and second down. And the only down and distance to really watch is third down. The Broncos have a fairly big disparity when it comes to third down. So basically the Broncos defense, their passing defense, is very good at preventing first downs on third down, whereas the Redskins have a lot of issues converting in those areas. So this actually might be a key down and distance to kind of watch, because if the Redskins can't convert on third down, this could be like game changing. You know, this could be like the type of thing that wins you games if you're able to do that. Then, of course, you get to sack rates between the Broncos offense and the Redskins defense. This particular area, the Redskins are favored on first and second down. So I do think the Redskins will probably get some sacks in this game just because of how poor the Broncos offense is at preventing sacks. Then, of course, we get to the Redskins offense versus Broncos defense when it comes to sack rate. And in this particular area, the Broncos are favored on first, second, and third down when it comes to sack rate. Now, of course, we get to interception ratio between the Broncos offense and the Redskins defense, where the Redskins are favored on first, second, and third down. So I do expect the Redskins to have some potential for interceptions in this game, which could give them the win. And then finally, we get to the Redskins offense versus Broncos defense when it comes to interceptions. And for the most part, the Redskins are favored on first and second down, with the only area of potential harm being on third down for the most part. The Redskins offense in general has had issues on third down in terms of the passing game and interceptions, etc. But overall thoughts and opinions on this game. Honestly, I think I'm going to go with the Redskins in this particular game. One, because it's at home. Two, because if you look at the overall data, typically speaking, the better offense wins the game in a general sense. If you have an above average offense, that typically is going to win more games than an above average defense from a statistical standpoint. And this is a very tight game. There are a lot of things that do favor the Broncos, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like the Redskins offense just has those advantages. I think the Broncos defense will probably give up some sacks, give up some turnovers, which will help the Redskins offense out. And ultimately, that's just kind of how I feel about this game. So I'm going to go Redskins here. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you believe is going to win this football game? And, of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification button so that you're always reminded when another video of mine drops. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.